Hello, everyone. He is strikingly different from his colleagues in the shop, with a physique that evokes associations with a sculpture carved from granite with a chisel and hammer, a low, enveloping voice, and finally an attitude to life. Tell me, how many bodybuilders have you met who hunted bison and wild boar for meat for their daily diet? And he doesn't just hunt, he hunts wild boar with only one knife. For him, muscles are not something to brag about on occasion, and it's not a way to make money. His main income has nothing to do with bodybuilding. His muscles are an indispensable attribute of a man, wild, unbridled, brutal, in a word, a real one. Today we will talk about the legend of bodybuilding and training with cheating Branch Warren. William Warren was born on February 28, 1975 in Tyler, Texas. Are you surprised by the first line of the personal file? Yes, that athlete whom we all used to call a Branch is actually called William. At that time, his father, a famous football player, turned 49 years old. His father called him Branch as a child, and this became his middle name. Thanks to his father, Branch was seriously interested in American football as a child, but at the age of 14, young Warren was indelibly impressed by the photos of Arnold and Tom Platz, and he decided to become like them. When he turned 15, his family moved to Dallas, where new opportunities opened up to fulfill his dreams. However, due to lack of money, he did not immediately have the opportunity to regularly visit the gym. Often, Branch managed to get into the hall with the help of his friend. A friend bought a subscription, went into the hall first, and then let Branch through the back entrance. Here, Warren was noticed by an experienced gym visitor with impressive muscle mass. He taught him the basics of training, and after a while he lured Branch to the Metroflex, the gym where Ronnie Coleman trained. Here, Warren began to make rapid progress, and by the age of 17, he entered his first competition, Mr. America, among teenagers and won. The following year, he won the second national championship among teenagers, ahead of Jay Cutler, the hero of the last video. This was followed by a break in the training related to university studies. In 1999, Branch resumed performing and took fourth place at the National Junior Championships, and the following year he took third place among adults. In 2001, Branch Warren won, which gave him a professional card. He finished eighth in his first professional tournament, the Night of Champions. In 2005, he won his first professional tournament, Europe Super Show, and in the same year he took eighth place at the Olympia. For 3 years in a row, Branch was recognized as the most muscular bodybuilder. However, Olympia never submitted to him. In 2008, Branch suffered a triceps ligament injury while walking down the stairs and had to skip the Olympia. In 2011, getting out of the car, he tore the quadriceps tendon of his right leg and missed the Olympia again. Oddly enough, apart from domestic injuries, Branch Warren practically did not receive any other injuries. In the beginning, Branch Warren trained more like a powerlifter. Having weak pectoral muscles and ridiculous bench press results, at the age of 15 he pressed no more than 60 to 65 kilograms or 130 to 140 pounds. He focused on basic exercises, and by the age of 19 he had brought the bench press to 450 pounds and then to 495 pounds by 15 times. Strumming is not a sight for the faint of heart. Intense, compressed workouts, full concentration, working up a sweat to the point of insanity, with huge weights in 5 to 10 repetitions until failure. I practice strumming 5 to 6 times a week, twice a day, with rest on Sunday and Wednesday. The brand performed 3 warm-up sets and 2 working refusals. Screaming, moaning, working in an explosive manner with short rest breaks, Warren's training system is a fusion of high-intensity and high-volume training. In bodybuilding circles, Strum is called the Quadrosaurus for his powerful quadriceps. But Warren himself believes that the definition of warrior best suits him. After all, he sets up for training as if he were going to war, and the reports on his training resemble reports from battlefields. It is believed that the legs of Branch Warren are among the best in the history of bodybuilding, if not the best. His leg workouts include squats weighing up to 705 pounds and 5 repetitions in a narrow stance. Every 6 weeks, Strum and his partners practice killer leg workouts, up to 100 repetitions. After each workout, he always does stretching, which helps him avoid joint injuries. He prefers cardio training to dieting and starts at 2 to 2.5 months before the competition for 30 minutes a day in the first week, up to 45 minutes in the second week, and up to an hour and a half a week later. 2 weeks before the performance, he stops cardio and just keeps fit. This allows him to look fresher on stage. I'll feel bad if I don't eat my steak on duty. These words of Warren's perfectly reflect his eating habits. He's used to eating meat, lots of meat. In fact, he gets all his daily 500 grams of protein from regular food, meat and eggs. Some people get it with protein shakes. A steak for Warren is a good half kilo of red meat. It doesn't have to be beef, but it can also be the meat of bison or wild boar. In addition to red meat, chicken breasts are also used, about 1 kilogram per day, as well as eggs, from 10 to 20 proteins plus 2 yolks. And that's it. Naturally, you won't be satisfied with proteins alone, and in the off-season, a branch can afford up to 400 grams of carbohydrates daily. Moreover, it's not just from healthy sources. In order to feed a 120-kilogram body, you can't do with healthy foods alone. When preparing for competitions, the amount of carbohydrates is significantly reduced, but Branch eats his on-duty steak until almost the very day of the competition. At the penultimate Arnold Classic, he ate it on the morning of the tournament day, almost before going on stage. At the Classic, preliminary judging begins at 12 p.m. We talked about protein and carbohydrates. What do we have left? That's right, fats and water. Warren doesn't pay much attention to fats, getting almost everything from red meat and a few egg yolks, but he pays attention to water, drinking at least 4 liters of it a day. It's already very hot in Texas, and especially in Metroflex, so you just have to drink a lot. Brunch's breakfast is the only meal that always stays the same, then, as God wills. My schedule is constantly changing, so I eat extremely irregularly, although I get everything I need in a day, and in this he differs from other bodybuilders for whom eating is a sacred act. When I was a teenager, I wanted to get big so badly that I followed someone's stupid advice and started eating everything that caught my eye. Pizza, burgers, ice cream, everything went to business. It was right after the competition, and in just 1 week I went from 84 kilograms to 100. I felt really bad about it. Fortunately, I quickly figured out what was going on, stopped overeating, went to the gym, and did cardio workouts especially intensively. After that, my diet became more realistic. His last competition was in 2016. Next, he suffered a shoulder injury and was recovering for quite a long time. He's not performing right now, but he's in great physical shape and doesn't feel sorry for himself in training. In 2007, the athlete organized the Branch Warren Classic competition under the auspices of the NPPC. Branch doesn't really like to flaunt his personal life, but he always talks about his wife with pleasure. The year 1999, in which Warren returned to the competitive podium, was remembered primarily by his acquaintance with Trish. They met at the gym where Branch's future wife was preparing for a fitness career. After seeing Trish and recovering from the initial shock, Branch approached her and immediately offered his hand and heart. Trish was so scared that she didn't say anything but simply turned around and ran into the locker room. But still, they started dating, and in 2005, they finally got married legally. They went to Australia for their honeymoon. We really liked it there. Australia is the only place I could live besides Texas, says Branch. Using the prizes for the second place at the Arnold Classic 2006, Branch and Trish opened the Maximum Logistics Company, engaged in transport logistics. Transport logistics is not just cargo transportation. It is the organization of delivery in the shortest possible time, the calculation of the optimal route, a clear selection of vehicles. It's a complicated case, but the Warrens are doing a good job of it. For a while, Branch had his own state-of-the-art gym, but soon the couple decided to sell it. The business began to take up too much time and effort. The venue was occupied by a production company that makes films about the Branch, a pretty good profit with an absolute minimum of costs. And Trish's hand is also felt in the activities of the production company. However, Trish is not the only or the first woman to have had a huge impact on Branch. The first was his mom. I am grateful to my mother for teaching me a lot. It took me a while to understand her advice, but now I realize how right she was. Mom, despite her advanced age, still helps Branch in his business. But in the life of a real man, there should be more than just women. A real man should have real friends. And the brand certainly has them, both in the bodybuilding world and outside it. One of Warren's friends, Johnny Jackson, who was also his training partner for a while, they are currently training separately, but they still have a warm relationship. Branch Warren is a passionate hunter. He hunts big game with friends, bison, wild boar, and this, I tell you, is not about shooting harmless bunnies and ducks. It will be more dangerous. However, Warren would not have been himself if he hadn't shown business savvy here, organizing hunting tours throughout Texas. Besides hunting, Warren loves motorcycles. By the way, he owns one of the most unique motorcycles in the world. At the moment, Branch is 50 years old and in great physical shape, and perhaps he still has major victories ahead of him. I never make predictions. I never think about my rivals. The only person I focus all my attention on before the competition is Branch Warren. I can only control myself. As always, I will be grateful for your support. It helps in the development of the channel. Do not forget to click on the bell so as not to miss the new issue. Thanks for watching Sports Guru with you. See you later.